Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sam's Cool Colors. Today, we're going to continue our Halloween activities by coloring in this page of Minnie Mouse and her Halloween pumpkin. All right, so here is our coloring page with Minnie Mouse sitting on her giant Halloween pumpkin. And we're going to color this in using markers today, 8 different colors, but you can use whichever colors you might have, whatever feels right. And if you have crayons, if you have colored pencils, feel free to use those as well as you follow along. So we'll go through all 8 colors as we color each part in. So let's start out with our first color. One of the easiest colors we'll use today is going to be a pink color. So any type of pink color that you have, you can start out, and we're going to go ahead and color in Minnie's tongue. So inside of her mouth. And if you want to follow along with me today, take a look in the description. If you have some time in your home and want to color step by step, just take a look in the description. There's a link to this exact coloring page so you can download it and maybe print it out so we could have some fun, relaxing coloring time together. So after you color in Minnie's tongue with that pink color, let's go ahead and grab yellow. So find your yellow, and we are going to use any yellow you might have. I prefer a brighter yellow. So if you have a couple of yellow options, go with the brightest color that you might have. And we're going to start out with the top of, or the middle rather, of Minnie's hat. And this little buckle that's here, we're going to color that in with our yellow. Okay. So we'll do this. Get that in nice and filled with our yellow. And we're going to use our yellow down here inside of our pumpkin to show the jack-o'-lantern look. So we need to take these outlines that you see around the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, and use our yellow right about there. Just follow along those lines. Try to stay within the lines. This is a little tough in some parts because it's a smaller, thinner area. But if you take your time and just kind of follow those edges, you should be able to stay within the lines and just follow along. If you have crayons, this may be a little trickier depending on if your crayon is sharp or not. So you can sharpen your crayon if you need to. Or another tip I like to do is use the back of the crayon. You could use kind of the back part of a crayon, right? And then just kind of like color that in when you get into these little tight areas here. But either way, just do your very best, and that's all that matters. So we can continue to keep going around, and you'll see how this comes together nicely when you use this yellow with the rest of the pumpkin colors to give it that jack-o'-lantern look, like a lit pumpkin with the face that's been cut out, right? All right, so we are finished up with our yellow color. So now we're moving on to the third color, which what we're going to use is, let's use a light peach or any sort of beige color you might use for Minnie's face, okay? So this one we can just sort of follow along here just to get the edging out. Make sure we know where to stop our marker or our crayon. And you can just kind of go in with more detail once you have that shape lined out, and then you can follow along to just make sure you're getting in that color. And any color that you might have that's as close to Minnie's face and skin color works. So this particular color is called a light peach, and you will just use anything that looks similar. Or if you want to make Minnie a different color, that works too. We have a lot of different options. We can get very fun and creative. And so once we go in here, we can get the right side of Minnie's face, same way. And we can just color that in. Now you're starting to see it come to life a little bit more now that we have Minnie's face getting a color. Doing a great job. And so now once Minnie's face is just about finished here, we can start to move on to the rest of Minnie's outfit. So let's move on now to the colors that Minnie will be wearing. So let's actually start out with, we're gonna have two purples, okay? So two different purple options. If you have a light purple and a dark purple, we're going to use both. So if you don't, you can just use one purple option, anything that works for you. For the inside of Minnie's cape, you see how she has this cape behind her. We're going to use the inside, which is right over here, for a lighter purple, and also for the bottom of Minnie's shoes. So this is what that looks like. Let's start at the top. We'll also use it on Minnie's Halloween hat. Let's use this light purple, starting out with that one first, in here, inside of the buckle there where you see the inside of the hat. And we're just going to keep going with this particular color. And what you'll see is this light purple is going to get complemented with a darker purple just in a little bit. So this is the inside of her cape. You see how her cape is sort of flying out? So what we're going to do is use this color to identify the inside of Minnie's cape. And we can just kind of go along this way, just like you're doing. Edge it out just to get your line and make sure you're staying on track. And then have fun coloring that in. You can see that filling in nicely. Doing a great job. Hopefully you're at home or wherever you are, relaxing, having a great time, following along this coloring page with one of the classic Disney characters, Minnie Mouse. One of my favorites, actually. Mickey's awesome too. So continue to follow along. Do the same thing on the opposite side, because this is also the inside of Minnie's cape. Okay, and here as well. Very nice. And then the last piece we're going to use for this light purple color will be the bottom, okay, of Minnie's shoes. So once we finish this side here, we're going to jump ahead and go down to the shoes. Okay, very nice. And we're going to color the bottom of Minnie's shoes this same color. So just start out on the left side here and follow along that line, which is the bottom of her shoe. And this just helps to give us a different color to make the page stand out a little bit more at the very end, since we're not using just one color on the entire shoe. So if you don't have multiple purple colors, if you only have one purple color in your marker box or in your crayon box, no worries. Just use that particular purple, or any color. If you want to use a different color for Minnie's shoes and Minnie's cape, Minnie's dress, you can do that too. So we are finishing up with the bottom of Minnie's second shoe. So from here, what we want to do is now transition to the darker purple. So if you remember, I said you have two different purples. This one will be a little bit darker. The name of this color is Violet, but if you want, you can use any purple, like I said, that you might have available. And you start to see immediately, right? Immediately, you see how this starts to give you something totally different versus the light purple. So if you do have the two purple options, try to use them. Try to use them if you have the time and you want to have that page stand out just a little bit more, because having the contrasting purples is what really helps to take this page to another level. And you could see here how when they're side by side, you see the difference. It really makes it where you see one is a light purple and one is a dark purple. So it makes a lot more sense too when you get to the cape, because then you understand, oh, that's the inside of Minnie's cape. So we're doing a great job. Let's use this also for the rest of Minnie's hat. And this color is going to be the same color we use for Minnie's dress. So we can finish it out. And I chose purple because to me, purple also is sort of a Halloween color. And you see a lot of costumes in purple. So I figured, why not make Minnie purple? You know, make her dress a little different from what you normally see, which is usually pink or red. So I figured let's dress Minnie up a little different today for this particular one. That's the fun thing about coloring. You can kind of get creative anywhere where you want, with any colors you might have. So in here, now that we have Minnie's hat, we want to finish up the top of her cape here, which is part of her outfit. You see in here, it's a little small, but what you want to do is just get in there nice and careful. And then you want to color these two spots, which are the top of her cape. So that's where you start to see, oh, this makes sense. This is part of top of her cape. So let's go ahead now and continue to go down and color the rest of her dress. And we're going to use this same purple. So you're staying with this purple really for the rest of Minnie's outfit and for her shoes. So let's just have a fun time coloring that in together. And again, just trying to use your little guidelines, draw those out first to help keep you in the same lines that you want to stay. And you really start to see how that color comes out when you have two different purples working together. And when you color other colors, you could try to do that too when you have an outfit, right? Two different shades of the same color, one light, one dark, and you start to see a nice differentiation because they work together. They actually complement one another. So with this, we're going to finish out her dress. Leave the belt white just to give it a little something different on that middle area. And Minnie's gloves also typically stay white, so we'll leave those white as well. But you can color them in if you want, any color you might like. If you feel like coloring in Minnie's gloves this time for a Halloween color, you can go ahead and do that. Now the last piece is going to be both shoes, so just follow that line, edge it out, and go right in. So you can make sure you are getting in a nice matching outfit for Minnie. And you can see how the bottom of her shoes is just a little bit of a different color, but that's okay because usually the bottom of the shoes have a little bit of a different color. So we figured we would go with that there. And now Minnie is matching really nicely with her hat and her cape. And so from here, now all we have left is our pumpkin. So we're going to go ahead and get that started. We can do, let's see, why don't we start out with our green first? So find any green color you might have. This is green grass, but you can start with any color you might like and try to make it a green so you can follow along the leaves and the vines that are with the leaves. So right over here on the left side, you see the squiggly line. This is going to be our first vine. You just want to start out with that and kind of go around. These are thinner lines, so we're running into some thin line situations here, but it's nothing that we cannot handle. We can handle this. So just try to be careful, take your time, and just go within the confines of the lines, shape it out. There you go. And then it gives you like a point to stop. So you're not going too far over. It just helps you to make sure that page is nice and neat. So follow that vine all the way around. We only have a few colors left. Very nice. And there's actually one more color I'd like to do at the end that we'll bring back. So let's go over here to the right side, color in the rest of our vine and leaves. So now that we're almost there, we can finish out our pumpkin. And I think we know the popular colors we'll use for the pumpkins, right? And we'll get to those in a few. We already started coloring in our pumpkin yellow. So that is for the inside lining of the pumpkin. But what we'll need is actually two more colors, but we'll do the orange first just to start coloring in our pumpkin, and you can start to see that come to life. So get any orange that you might have available, okay? And then just start to color that in using the orange. And again, just don't forget to guide it if you need to. If you're comfortable already just coloring within the lines, then no need to do that. But for me, I still do it from time to time, especially in these areas that get a little tricky. So right in here. So what you can do from there is just make sure you're getting all of the spots that are in between, because that also will make your picture look complete. Okay, and then you can just get all of the different spots here. You see that? Go around the eye. Make sure you get all the little nooks and crannies there. Yep, very nice. All the little gaps. You gotta make sure we get all these gaps. Very nice. So many shapes to the pumpkin, right? You see how once you start to color in that pumpkin, it starts to get so rounded, which is a lot of fun. You gotta just follow those shapes all the way around. Minnie's looking like she's having a ton of fun on this pumpkin here, getting ready for Halloween. Very nice. Around the nose. And excellent. It's coming out really nice. So great work, everyone. Hope you're having a great time. Let's see, so we have about halfway left on our pumpkin. Again, just want to take your time, because sometimes when you rush, that's what leads to not having a really nice end product, right? When you rush a lot, you don't see the neatness that you might want at the end. So a lot of times it's just about taking your time. And when you get to these corners, these edges, you want to make sure that you're not rushing, especially in those particular spots. And that's usually the difference between having a nice finished page that you can show off to everybody, to show all your friends, versus a page that you want to hide in the closet because it didn't come out so pretty. But with practice, you will improve, and it's going to look nicer and nicer. And we'll do a lot more episodes like this, coloring episodes. We'll also do drawing episodes, so just be on the lookout for that. If you like any type of art activities, any sort of fun activities, just drop them in the comments. Let me know. I would love to incorporate it into the channel. It'd be a huge help for me to see what you all want to see as well. And we'll have a fun time together. Relax and draw, color, and do artsy things. And that's the end of the pumpkin part, at least for the outside. So we do need to still use the color black. And this color black is going to go in the middles here of both of the ends of the eyes, the mouth, and the nose, to just finish out the jack-o'-lantern pumpkin look. So for this particular one, I'm going to use my black to just be very careful, because with black, if you go too fast, you can easily cross over and get into the danger zone, where you have a lot more lines that are going into the other colors. But as I color in the black, you really start to see how it creates that finished pumpkin look, right? You see that? If you leave that white, it just doesn't look the same. So if you have the time, I would suggest just coloring it in. Color that in with black, just so you can get that finished pumpkin look. And as you can see, it's really making it pop. So we have the mouth left, and then there's one last little color I want to go back to. Something I just noticed that I want to make sure we color in on Minnie, and then we'll be pretty much complete. So just follow along here. Doing a great job. I know this is probably a little more tricky. Even if you're using a crayon, you still want to be careful with the black in this particular spot, because if it kind of bleeds over, it's hard to blend it in at the very end. But if you're careful, you're gonna get it right the first time. You do not need to do anything to fix any type of mistake you might have made. But it's not a mistake, only because, you know what, it's art. So we can do art any which way we want, and it's okay to not be perfect. So here we go. We're finishing out the rest of our pumpkin mouth. And wow, look at that. You see the difference on that pumpkin as opposed to just leaving it white. Now I do want to grab pink again, so you shouldn't have your pink too far away. Grab your pink, because I do want to actually add one more color to the middle here. I know we said white, but let's color in Minnie's belt. Let's make it pink, just because I think it would make it pop a little bit more. Yeah, I really like that. Awesome. We've colored in our Minnie Mouse Halloween picture where she's sitting on a giant pumpkin. I hope you had a really great time today. And if you did, be on the lookout for more Sam's Cool Color videos. I look forward to seeing you next time.